I welcome you all to our Certified DevOps Engineer Live Free Training Program. This is our roadmap, and according to it, we have successfully completed day 1 to day 8. And as we have already completed day 7 container orchestration Kubernetes, so it's time for our day 4 software automation orchestrator Jenkins to spin up or scale up in Kubernetes. Before I go ahead, I would like to take a moment, thank each and every one of you for your kind support and love which you're providing to our channel. Thank you very much for that. These are our social media handles. We would love to stay in touch with you, and all the steps you are going to see me and the codes, everything will be available in this GitHub repository. As we move forward, I will show you where you can find this, but link is already in the description if you want to. So what we will cover today. As you know, I have given a theme to this day 4, and in previous part in warrior theme, we learned all the basic fundamentals of the Jenkins, and after that we also completed Gladiator, where we extend the Jenkins functionality and learned how distributed build and advanced functionality we can use in the Jenkins. And in last part was the champions. So in that we conquer containerization with the Jenkins. Basically, we discussed several scenarios regarding when you run your Jenkins as a container. So that's what we learned so far in previous part. And today is the time for Titans, which is completely dedicated to Kubernetes. Let's start this. So before I go ahead and tell you the agenda and what we are going to do, let me save your time, and I hope you don't need to watch this video for that. So all these links right now I'm going to share with you. Everything is already mentioned in the description of this video. You could find over there. So this is the official link of the documentation, how you can install Kubernetes. Everything, all the steps, everything is mentioned over here. Go ahead and do it yourself, DIY, if you want to. And once you are done with this, you have to install this plugin. Table of contents is also mentioned over here, and you could go and do it step by step. Okay, additionally, after that, if you want, these are the pipeline syntax. You could also do it by yourself. So these are the documentation which I refer for this tutorial, and there are some points which I found. So if you already know about the Jenkins, you already watched previous videos, if you want to explore, and I would highly recommend. I know it may be a negative for the video, but I don't think it is gonna be, or you will take it as a negative way. So I would highly recommend go ahead and first DIY, do it yourself, and of course when you feel any issues, you can come back and watch this video. Okay, so that's the enough on this. So let's start with the very first thing, and to learn how we can install the Jenkins in Kubernetes cluster. So again, these are the prerequisite. I'm assuming your Kubernetes cluster is up and running, reachable with the kubectl config. You have sufficient cluster privilege to create objects such as namespaces, service account, RBAC, deployments, volumes, and also you must have understanding of volumes, how to use this. If you don't know this, how to do this, go ahead and you could refer the day 7 videos where we deep dive into the Kubernetes part. So let's go ahead and start doing this. So for that, you need to go to this website, jenkins.io. Okay, and on this, yes, you don't need to click on the downloads, you need to click on the documentation. Okay, so I'm leaving this option for you. Go ahead and click on the download and explore this, what happened. So once you click on the documentation, you will find this page next. And here on this page, there is an option which says installing Jenkins. And when you click on that, you will end up with this page. And here we have two options. So one is Kubernetes over here. Either click on this or either click on this, and then you will be coming up over here. The link which I already shown you how you could do that. right? But if you are starting, so it's good to know everything where to find what. Okay, and on this again we have a table of content, right side of this page, and in this there are several ways you can install Jenkins on Kubernetes cluster. So one of the way here it is mentioned, which is install Jenkins with Helm version 3. And we know the Helm is a package manager for Kubernetes. If you want to read more about it, here is the link, helm.sh, or it is also available in the description. Go ahead and read about that. And that is at the moment out of the scope, right, which we are not going to do. And the next option is installing Jenkins with operator. Okay, what is this? So Jenkins operator is also Kubernetes native operator which fully manage Jenkins on Kubernetes. Again, the same thing. If you want, go ahead and read about this. But in this tutorial, we are going to learn about Jenkins Kubernetes manifest file. Why so? Why I'm not showing you this option? If you want me to make a video in future, please give your feedback, recommend. I will do that. But for today, my aim is to make you understand about how actually when you install manually in the Kubernetes cluster, then what you have to do. And I believe when you know the basic fundamentals, then this will be easier for you. I'm not saying don't explore, of course, explore it, but I will start with this one. So let's go ahead and see the manifesto files, not manifesto, manifest files. So Jenkins Kubernetes manifest file. So first one, of course, this is I have taken from the official the link which I showed you, right? The documentation. So I realize it's initially like if you see Jenkins admin. So what exactly happening over here? It's a kind of confusing, right? So from that I have created the simplified version. Okay, for the same file. We will again go back and talk about this later, but I'm not saying it's not good. Yes, if you know, so you quickly, if you know Kubernetes, you could quickly see what is happening over here. But my job is to, as I said, I want to make you understand the fundamentals. So that's what I have created a dedicated separate file out of this in simplified version. So let's understand this one. So first, this is first file, service account. So this naming convention I'm following, and you will also find the same name in the repository. Once we switch back to terminal, I will show you what you need to do. Okay, there are two kind of deployments files I have prepared for you. So first, let's understand the basics and not go into that. We are coming on that later. So here, the first thing, here we have to create a cluster role, and we have given a name is a Jenkins admin cluster role. And what are the roles? So we have provide this role to this many things. So it can access API groups, resource, and ops. Okay. So this first thing. Second thing, in this YAML file, we are creating a service account. Okay. And service account name is Jenkins admin service account. And here the namespace is CICD. Of course, I just rename it. Feel free to create a namespace, whatever convenient to you. So I just wrote it CICD, whatever you would like. You can create a namespace and accordingly file you have to use. And then we have a cluster role binding. Okay, and so what we have done over here, Jenkins admin cluster role binding. So here the role reference, like this. So cluster role, and cluster role is Jenkins admin cluster role, which we have created above. Then the to whom we are assigning or binding this, so we are binding with this service account, Jenkins admin service account. Okay, and all these are in the same namespace. So let's quickly look at it. So first we created cluster role, service account, and cluster role binding. So once we have role, then we have service account, and by the role binding we have assigned the role to service account. So there are three things over here. You could also create three separate files for this. So we already discussed this in our Kubernetes day 7 part 1 and 2, right? So it's up to you. For me, it's better when you have a complex deployment, so all the same code keep in a one file, so you could quickly understand or refer later back. Okay, so that's what we have done. After that, in next step, we have a deployment file. So let's understand the deployment. So it's usual API version, kind, with metadata, Then name we have given the Jenkins. The name of the deployment is Jenkins. Remember, okay, don't be confused when we go ahead and switch to the terminal. So you won't see the pod name is the Jenkins. So don't wonder. And namespace is CICD. Here we are running only one replica. Then selector, mesh labels, app Jenkins server, which is crucial. Remember this one especially. Okay, that we will be using in service as well. Then here in deployment, right? So we have this labels. So we know we discussed this in day 7, part 1 and part 2 as well. Okay. So here these are the things, and after that is spec. Again, this spec is also belongs to deployment, where we have security context and fs group is there and run as user. So if you closely, or if you ever examine, like I discussed in previous part, right, when we learn about the Docker tutorials in day 6, right, and when we learn about the Jenkins, not Jenkins, the Docker files, right. So if you observe the Jenkins file, so you would see the inside the container, the Jenkins is running as a user and the group 1000. So we want to keep this as is. We don't want Jenkins to be run as administrator. So that's why security context comes in the play, and we have defined this one. And here if you see the service account name, Jenkins admin service account, this must match with the in file 1 the service account name, whatever we have created or you created or you will create it later. So for up to here it's about the deployment. Then we have a container name is Jenkins, and of course we are using LTS. And here if you see we are using the ports, HTTP port and LP port 50,000 for connecting the Jenkins slaves. Okay, and this is port for the Jenkins itself, so we can access this later. So these 2 ports we are going to use, and that's why these are over here. And then we have volume mounts, and if we see the volume mounts part, so we have Jenkins data, which is the name of the volumes like this, and the mount path is var Jenkins home. So everything is over here. There is a caution empty dir. Okay, what does it mean? It means, I would say theoretically, yes, we are using volume, but practically when your pod dies, you won't get any data. I know it is not a mistake. I'm showing you or keeping the empty directory. The reason is, if you are doing practice, so this is according to me recommended or best way to go ahead and use this, because once you restart your pod or delete your pod, all the configuration will go away. Then you have opportunity to reconfigure everything. Okay, so just for the practice, but later on I will show you how we make this deployment persistent. So don't worry for that, I got you covered, and we'll show you both the things. So it's up to you. I thought to go ahead in this direction, so that's what so this is about the deployment, and this is our overall deployment file. Okay, here the name of the deployment is Jenkins, and the mesh levels, app Jenkins server, template, and in template we have also Jenkins server. And here service account, don't forget to put the service account name. Okay, then these are the port details and the mounting part. So this is our deployment, and after that the last in this service file. So we need to access Jenkins, and for that we have to create one service. Okay, and here is a kind service, metadata Jenkins service, the name is like this, so we know what is the name of the service. And again the namespace is CICD, and the spec again the selector, if you see app Jenkins server, which is similar to what we have put over there. So always remember, don't miss out on this. This is very special, important. Of course the special as well, otherwise how service will route the traffic to. Okay, and if you watch day 7 Kubernetes of this playlist or this series, so you know these selectors are in overall Kubernetes labels plays a very important roles. Okay, and again the ports which we mentioned in the deployment, 8080 and 32,000 as a node port. We are gonna expose this service as a node port. Okay, again I'm mentioning we are going to type the exposing the service as a node port. If you don't want, or if you are using ingress or ingress controller or something else, so you don't need to expose directly the service. But here I'm assuming, not assuming, the setup of the everything is on the local, and this is for learning purpose, right? So in that way, it's okay. You can expose the service on the node port and directly on the your host IP, and then 8080, and you are able to access the Jenkins server. Okay, so let's quickly look everything. So first is service account and rollback. Second is the deployment, and third is the service itself. Okay, and here you could see 8080 and 8080. So you might be wondering, I don't know if you notice or not, container port is 50,000, which is not mentioned over here. Okay, so there is a reason. Okay, and do it, follow along, and I'll show you how you can do this. Okay, so we are coming on that shortly. Okay, that's all the same. You can copy and paste it over here, expose the port like this. So don't worry, everything step by step. Okay, so these are the files, and I hope everything is clear to you. And now it's time we have to deploy these files. And if nothing is clear, or if there is a doubt, please feel free to let us know. I'll provide more information. So in Kubernetes, we have very simple commands to deploy this file. kubectl apply -f, right? And you could provide the file one, say rpeg.yaml, to deployment, and third service.yaml similarly. Okay, once you deployed, after that everything is fine. But before that, as I said, I'm assuming your cluster is up and running. You can execute the kubectl command, right? And you could check it. Next, once you are done, then you have to execute this command, okay, which is like this: kubectl get deploy pod, then replica set and svc, okay, in namespace CICD. Alternatively, you could also run kubectl get all and then given a namespace CICD. But that I wanted to show you in this order, so that's why I have given it manually. So no wonder at all. You could type the alternative command as well. So here we have the deployment, right? And as I said, we mentioned the name of the deployment is Jenkins. So you could see Jenkins, and you could see the pod, and that's what we discussed already. Why it has something like this. This is string, right? And the Jenkins, everything. Okay, if you want to learn, go ahead and refer day 7 part 1 of the Kubernetes, where I explain why this is. Okay, but in short, Jenkins is a name, and these are the some strings attached to it. Then we have replica set, and so short answer I'll definitely give you. I'm not forcing you to watch that if you want to learn more in that case. Okay, so this Jenkins is the name of the deployment. Okay, and this 5.6 and end with F5, which is this string. Okay, this is the replica set, and then this is the random string for the pod. So this is how deployment is a high level object. Inside that we have replica set, and replica set manages the pod. So that's why we have this strings and like this naming. And we at the end we have over here, this is the Jenkins service. Okay, and type is node port. And quick thing over here, so if you see, I have exposed this. Yes, so this is a snapshot from where I exposed 50,000 as well as the 8080 both. Okay, I will also show you why and what happens if you don't expose this port. All right, so this is overall the deployment, which is successfully done. And in next step, we are going to okay, so I already explained it. Okay, anyways, this is the command. And in next step, we have to access the Jenkins. In order to access the Jenkins, you have multiple ways. So in my case, what happened, I'm using the Minikube as a single node cluster. Okay, and in single node cluster, you have Minikube IP. Like when you execute this command, so in my case, I have created a profile, and profile is this sock cube, and that's why I have to provide minikube-p and the sock cube. So if you are not your cluster name is not customized, so you could execute this command and get this IP or whatever IP, not the exact the same, or might be same. I don't know what would be in your case. In my case, I have executed this command and I got this IP. Okay, 192.168.49 and 2. So that's what I'm gonna use. This command is relevant, okay, for you if you have custom cluster name or profile. So why do we need that? So what we are going to do now on your terminal. Okay, so in my case, this is my Mac, and on Mac I have a virtual box installed, and inside that there is a VM, and in that VM I install the Minikube, and I'm using the driver in the container. So that's why I'm gonna execute this command to access the Jenkins at my local system as a local host on port 8080. So we know how we got this IP, and this is the 32,000 is a port of the Jenkins, right? When we execute the command kubectl get svc or services in namespace CICD, you will get the port of the node port. So that's why we have defined the node port from our side. Okay, if you don't define any port, so Kubernetes automatically will assign a port to your service, and that's what I don't want. I want my own port, so I remember where I have assigned what port, and I want to access on 8080. That's why this is the thing. So overall, actually what happened, I explained this command several times, but let's go over it once again. So here there is option SSH, we know, right, to access the server, right, via the SSH. So this is one of the protocol. Dash L setups local port forwarding, and what it does actually, so local port forwarding, it means local port 8080 on your machine, okay, will forward to port 32000 on this machine. We are coming on that, how we will access or use this 8080. So whatever traffic you request from 8080 from your local machine, it will be forwarded to on this IP on this port. Okay, and this is the simple SSH command, user at the name of the my server. So that's what we do, the login. And here what exactly -n? So -n tells SSH not to execute any remote command, just sets up the tunnel and keep it open. So we want this tunnel remains open for us, so we could do continue work. Okay, this is same, you could also use this if you have a jump server, okay, or bastion server in between to access your cluster, and there is no GUI on your system, right? So you could do this and access the do the configuration, not only for the Jenkins, even for the other services in cluster as well. Okay, even not only on the cluster, on your remote servers as well. Okay, so this is the way we are going to access. So this is the way I'm going to access, but in your case, if you executed Minikube, okay, on your local system, so you can directly go ahead and use your host IP and this port number, and you will be able to access the Jenkins. Okay, so enough on this. So let's go ahead and configure this. So in order to configure, now we open a tunnel, so we will type localhost 8080, and once you type it over here, okay, you will see something like this: unlock the Jenkins. Yes, so we have to, it's a first configuration, we have to unlock the Jenkins, and to unlock a Jenkins, what command we have to execute. So for that, yes, this command I will also put in the description, okay, or GitHub documentation. You can directly type it and get. So let me first explain what actually happening over here. So kubectl exec is a way to execute a command, right, inside your container, and the namespace is CICD. Then here what we have done, we have given dollar, right. You don't need to keep it if you are doing everything in one line. Please ignore this, and if you want to do it in next line or something like that, we use the new line character like this, but we don't need to do that, so don't do it. So here it's a command substitution, then we are doing the kubectl get pods namespace CICD, and the label app equals to Jenkins server. So see how powerful. You don't need to remember what is the name of the pod, because the pod name is random, right, and it has lots of several random strings. So that's why labels are really important. Okay, and output is a JSON path and item.index0.metadata.name. So from here we are getting the name of the first pod, okay, and inside that, so this dash is separate. Your kubectl, I mean the Kubernetes things, and the command inside the container. Okay, and here we are doing the cat var Jenkins underscore home secrets initial admin password. Okay, this is the way. Or either you could also do like this kubectl get pods in namespace CICD, then you can grab the Jenkins pod and after that pod name, and after that you can also execute the same command kubectl exec-n CICD and then put the grabbed name of the pod, and after that dash dash and the cat everything. So once you see the password, grab this and come back on this screen and put it over here, and after that you have to click on the continue over here, right? And once you are done with this, so either go with the install suggested plugin, or if you are starting out, so I don't want you to feel overwhelmed, go ahead and install suggested plugin. But I'm not going to do that. Rather, I will go ahead and select plugins to install. And why I'm doing it, so I already answer in our Jenkins first part as well. And again, I'm telling you, once you are going and do these things, so here you also have again the opportunity where you could say in this tab, right? All non-suggested selected. So if you want again suggested, go ahead and click it. If you don't want, if you want all, right, go ahead and do that. I'm selecting none. Okay, and why I'm selecting none? Because whatever plugin I required, I know. So I want more customization, but it's more advanced side. So if you're again, I told you here also you have option suggested, right? So if you want to go ahead and you suggest it, so click is this. And if you are doing it multiple times, 1 2 3, after that you come over here and go for the none or suggested, or don't select any of the things, and after that you know what your Jenkins looks like when you don't install any of the plugin. Okay, so and this will also help you to answer your question during the interview ask you, okay, if you run or if you have set up Jenkins in Kubernetes cluster, so which plugin you used or what are the plugins you used apart from suggested or recommended or something like that. So you know, so I will show you what other plugins you need when we are going to install some of the plugins. Okay, so that's why I selected. Of course, it's a hard part, but I would say, yeah, harder is better. Then install, because we didn't select anything, so that's why nothing. Create your user. Once it is done, then save and continue. And on this, it is important for this one. Okay, that's why I put it also important. So you will be seeing like this, so don't do this. Just click on this not now. I will explain you why when we switch to the UI. And after that, start using a Jenkins. And boom, our Jenkins is up and running. And this is the first time when we see, okay, when we do not have any of the plugins. Okay, and if you see on this welcome screen, so we have create jobs, we have set up agents, we have configure a cloud, and there are several things. And this one, configure a cloud, which is the topic of the day, which we are gonna do that. But before that, let's test the environment, right? How our environment is there. So we have option new item, either click on this dashboard or create job over here as well. When you click on this, so here the environment test, so new item, right? So enter item over here, then you have to just, in this window, you have to just give it a name. So I just give any name like env test to just test whether the installation has done or not successfully. Okay, how it is behaving when you are executing any of the job. So that's what I'm just doing it. Then you have to select freestyle project. This is the only default option, you will get it. And if you go with the suggested method of the plugins, you will never come across, okay, what are the options you see when you don't have any of the plugins. So this is the freestyle project, is the default one. We are going to create pipeline, but remember this thing, when you don't have anything, so freestyle project is the default option available once you install your Jenkins. Then after that, once you select this one, then this option will be highlighted like this. So env test, I've selected this and I click on OK. So this is the job we have created. So far, I believe the installation is nothing. I mean, not harder. It's very simple. I try at my current potential, and I hope my brain help me to synchronize with my voice and I explain. If not, please let me know what additional things should explain so we can make it more better. We release a next tutorial in the future. So please do provide your feedback on this. And now I thought it's a time to have a real fun. So that's why now onwards we will switch to the Jenkins UI. We will do everything hands-on. Yes, I could do again putting a snapshot over here, but that will not be much fun. Okay, we will be having lots of fun. So let's go ahead and switch to the UI, and we will switch back to the presentation later. So let's go back and switch to Jenkins UI. Before that, I would like to show you something over here. So in this, I have in this repository. Okay, this is the repository, and which is already over here, github.com subcube, and there is a repository here, this Jenkins. Okay, and here again, this is the repository. Here we have Jenkins Docker. Okay, that's what we talked about previously, and I will upload, okay, the same code and this folder, Jenkins Kubernetes, over here. So let's go ahead and see what do we have in Jenkins Kubernetes folder. We have two things, okay, persistent volume deployment and mtdir deployment. So the files which I explain you, this one, okay. And if you want to apply, so let me quickly show you mtdir win-o, and we have 1, 2, 3. Okay, so let's quickly open these files, and we could see this was the file which I was referring. Then we have this file, apps deployment, which is over here, and this one, which is the service file. Okay, so let's quit all, and if we go on this persistent one, okay, so here we have additional one more file. So let me open this as well for you. So one as a service account, okay. Two and third one is deployment and fourth one is service. Okay, so sorry about this one. We have to use like this. Okay, so all files are open. Okay, see cluster role binding, service account, cluster role, then this one is the persistent volume claim. This is the only one file, okay, which is different. And here we have given a name Jenkins PVC, name is CICD, and the read write ones, and 10 GB is a size. And of course, this one, this file is deployment, which is the similar, except instead empty directory, here we have used the claim name, okay, persistent volume claim and persistent Jenkins PVC. And similarly, if you also see, so the type is not port, the ports, so HTTP port and the agent port, I have just given a name 50,000, and target port is also that. Okay, so what these are: port, target port, port, please refer day 7 part 2. Okay, so for in short, we want to access the Jenkins on 32,000, and I explain you how you could do this. And similarly, we need this port, so when we spin up an agent, dynamic agent, then those agent will be able to connect with the Jenkins back using this port. Okay, so that's it on it. And if I clear this, and if I say kubectl, let me come back. So kubectl apply -f, and here simply I could say persistent volume claim. And if you see cluster role, it says unchanged, unchanged, unchanged. So that's the advantage of using the Jenkins on Kubernetes cluster, which is, I think, For me, it's one of the easiest way to set up a cluster and use a Jenkins inside that. Okay, once it is done, then come back over here and this one. All right, so let's log in with the credentials. Here there is a one folder which I have created to keep some of the items hidden. And when you log in first time, you won't be able to see this one and how I created this folder and which plugin I have used. So let me first show you, before we create any of the job, let me first show you what are the plugins we already have used. Okay, so these are the plugins. It asked me to for the updates. Okay, let's update this. And if I come over here, the first plugin for the folder, I have used this one folder, folder. Okay, and which is already installed. Okay, so that's why I have to find this over here. This is the, here we go, folder plugin. Second plugin I use, this one is a pipeline. Okay, here we go. This is the pipeline plugin, and additionally, let me make a zoom. Okay, in your case, you will find in available, because when we install, right, initially there was no plugin we selected. Okay, so in that case, you have to click on available and type this. Okay, and you don't need to install folder plugin as well if you don't want to. So pipeline plugin, pipeline graph view plugin, which I have selected, and I will show you why I have selected this. And if you want to uninstall, click over here. Everything we have discussed in very detail in the day 4 part 1 of the Jenkins. Okay, but still I'm just telling you. Okay, apart from this, one of the most important plugin we need for the overall Kubernetes configuration, right? So this one is Kubernetes. Okay, so click on this. On Mac, it's a command, and select this one, or click on this, or in Windows, control or Linux, control and click on this. This page will be open. So it's the same link which I have shown you here, right, initially, and everything is mentioned over here. So we need this plugin, so it's very important, and in my case it's already installed, that's why it's showing like this. Additionally, one important plugin we need, it's identity. Okay, so instance identity, what is this about? So click on this and go ahead and read about this more. Okay, so everything is over here. These are the plugins we required. So again, let me tell you the two most important plugin. One is Kubernetes, another one is instance identity. Two most important plugin you required. Then you need additionally pipeline plugin to create a pipeline. Okay, I will tell you as we move forward when you have to install which plugin. So initially you have to install this one, Kubernetes. Okay, this one, Kubernetes plugin here. It's name itself like Kubernetes plugin. So you have to install that one. All right, so it is over here, and then after that installing, you have to come on this page, manage Jenkins. In manage Jenkins, there is option cloud. In your case, when you log in first time, okay, you will be finding this option as I've shown in the presentation. So new item or new project or new build or job, and there is also the option new cloud. Okay, and install plugin as well. So you could directly click on the click on the install plugin, and then you can install. So we already installed plugin. Okay, but install plugin option will not be there. So what it will do for you, so these are the all cloud related plugins, okay, for your reference. When you click on this will lead you directly over there. So we already installed, and we are not interested at the moment for any other. So let's click on the new, and first I want to give it a name. So for example, Kubernetes, or maybe simply simple, I can copy this from over here, or let's not be confused. Okay, so just give it a name, whatever name you want to give. Select Kubernetes. So Kubernetes plugin we have installed, that's why it is showing us like this, Kubernetes, create, and after that, okay, so and here there is an option which says something like this, test connection. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to click on this, and you could see here it says connected to Kubernetes version 1.33.1. Okay, so why is this? So I already installed, right, or we already have installation of the Jenkins in Kubernetes cluster, which is natively already in there, so we don't have to configure further things, but there is more options, Kubernetes URL. So in case if you're on different cluster, or maybe you have multiple cluster you want to configure, right, so give it a name accordingly, production, testing, development, whatever. And if your Jenkins server is in different cluster, then what you need to do, you have to run this command kubectl cluster info, right? That's how you get your URL of the cluster where your Jenkins is accessible. Okay, so accordingly you have to configure this thing. Everything is mentioned over here in case if you have different use case like this. Okay, so go through with this. So but in our case, Jenkins is already installed over here, or if you want me to make a detailed video where Jenkins is running somewhere else and wanted to configure or connect the cluster with it, please do your feedback, let me know. I'll definitely make one. Then after that, we don't have to make anything over here, okay, except one thing. Here there is one option, Jenkins URL. Okay, so let's come back on this in a while. Okay, and let's save this. So our cloud configuration is there. So first thing we wanted to do is, let me duplicate the tab. So cube, the password, and Jenkins. And first we want to test the environment. So let me give it a name, env test. Okay, so remember I already told you in previous part as well, don't give any space or avoid putting space in between something like this. Okay, you could do that, job will be created, but in the back end, right, Jenkins will create a folder and it would be a kind of problem, right? So don't put a space in between, avoid doing this, uh, use dash or maybe underscore or something like that. Okay, and after that I have to create a freestyle project, and you could see here there is an option pipeline, right, and the folder and multi-branch and organization folder, right? So when you install folder plugin, you will get this option. When you install pipeline plugin, you will get this option. By default you will get only freestyle project. Okay, so let's stick with this. Okay, let's stick with this freestyle project, and then again we come over here, right? And in this we have an option, build strap. In build strap we have to select execute shell, and let's see who's the user. Okay, when we execute this command, then let's check the ID of that and also the host name, which is one of my favorite command, by the way. So let's execute all these things and go ahead and click on build. All right, so this is successfully completed, and here if you see started by DevSecOps user and running as a system, building in this workspace and all these things, and who am I? So Jenkins, right, and ID is 1000 and group is also, so that's why, right, in deployment file when we put 1000, right, 1000 in security context for FS group and run as a user, right? So this is over here, and when we execute hostname, so we got this, the detail, right? And this is when we copy and go over here, let me clear this and kubectl at out in namespace CICD, and if I put it over here, right, so you could see this string exactly the same. Okay, so what does it mean for you or for us? So it means the job which we have configured, which is getting executed on the controller machine. So in Jenkins world, where we actually install the primary server Jenkins, this is called as a controller, or yes, controller, or it used to be called as a master machine, right? If you are familiar with that, that is still fine. But what we don't want Jenkins to execute any of the jobs on the controller machine, right? So what we can do in that case, go over here. There is an option nodes in the system configuration part. Okay, this is the system configuration part here. Then come here, node, click on this, click on this one, built-in node. Then after that you have to click on configuration, and in configuration, if you see number of executor 2, make it 0. Let's say master. I'm used to with master, so typing this is whatever name you want to give. You could give it, even you could put your name. Okay, so let's give the name DevSecOps. Why not? Okay, only builds up with the level expression, and save. Save it means quit. I mean save and exit, like that, and then come back over here. Then we go to this one and build it again. And let's see what happened now. Now it's if you see, okay, so yeah, waiting for next available executor. So what is happening over here? So basically what is happening over here, like this one, build executor, right? We have put 0 of 0, executor busy. If you click on this, and as it is not able to find any of the executor, right? Because we did not make anyone. So what we need to do, okay, come back over here again, and here let's go in the cloud configuration, right? And here we have an option pod templates. Click on this. After that, add a pod template, and let's add one pod. Go pod name. Okay, I want this CICD namespace, and we could say go pod level. Okay, then users only build jobs with level expression. Okay, and name of the container that will run the Jenkins agent, so leave it a blank. Then here there is an option container. So inside pod template, we need to define a container. Okay, so add a container template, so we know inside pod X ultimately we are running a container, but we don't run container directly in a Kubernetes world, right? Rather we spin up or run the container which are wrapped inside the pod, or which are wrapped with the pods. Okay, so that's why we have to be a little bit cautious over here what we have to do. So let me go pod name. So let me just copy paste it like this. So instead of pod, it is gonna be container name, right? So let's give it a name like this. So this is container name, and image is Golang, right? So sorry, not this one, Golang. Okay, and rest things are rest details is default. We don't need to make it change. We don't need to make this change as well, but select this one. Okay, now create this one. So let's go through this once again. So new pod template setting. So here we go, the name. Then this is the namespace where we want this agent template or agent pod will be spin up. Okay, and that's our the same namespace where we have installed the Jenkins. Then we have this label. So let me copy this one, and of course uses this one. Then we don't have to make any of the changes. Then container template, so go container name, right? So it's just a container name, and Golang is the Docker image. Okay, and always pull image if you want to, or if you don't want to, don't do it. So home Jenkins, this is the default, we didn't make it, it came by default. Then the command to run slip, and the argument to pass it to the command. And if you don't want to overwrite anything, the default entry point in the container, don't mention any of the things, and explore this what happened if you don't do it. Okay, this is we already talk in our when we learn about the Docker images, right? The Docker tutorial in day 6. Right, so everything we have discussed about this, and now we are gonna create it. And if we come back over here, let's go to the configuration, and here there is an option restricted. So in restricted, what we are going to do here, we put a label expression. If you see restrict, where this pod can be run. Okay, so we want to run, it says label expression. So this is also, this is the label we already put in over here, right? We talk about this one. Here we go. Okay, this is the label. Okay, so now we have to apply, save, or save simply, and build it now. I guess let's see if it is gonna come or something happened with this. It seems like okay, it won't. Meanwhile, we could see what is happening over here. Let me clear the screen. And let's watch the pod. Okay, so nothing is happening. Let me stop this first. All right, now let's build and let's see. Let's see over here, waiting for available next executor, and it's something happening over here. All right, so let me check it again. Go label is the same, the label of this one. Okay, that's fine. All right, let's check the logs. What is happening? It's here. Logs dash f, and the namespace is CICD. That's why I put it like this. Okay. Oh, sorry, cannot see. My bad. It should be dash n. Okay, so what it's saying, Jenkins own nodes go pod name config.xml, no such file exception. Okay, so there is some issue with the, okay, we got an error, login provisioning agent, or this template is this warning Kubernetes launch error in provisioning Jenkins plugin Kubernetes slave go podnet template is like this. Okay, so okay guys, so that's why this is the lucky moment I was waiting for. So it took a time, okay, just to pretend what happened. So if you remember, I mentioned about this one, right? Jenkins URL. So here what happened actually, when we don't put this one, so here you could see there is no provisioning of the pod. Okay, there is a problem in provisioning. Okay, so why? So yes, exactly, you need to define the valid Jenkins URL, so when pods are provisioned they can connect back, okay, with the Jenkins. Okay, so how we could do this, like if you face something, so copy it and paste it in your favorite AI, okay, and you can read more about it. Okay, so I know, and that's why I did not put the Jenkins URL over here, and I know we have to come across this situation, okay, because I wanted to. Now you remember always and don't miss this out. Okay, so again, cloud configuration, then our cloud configuration is gets. Click on this, go to configuration, and here we need to put Jenkins URL. Okay, so ideally what happened, where your Jenkins able to communicate. Okay, so in our case, Jenkins is installed already in Kubernetes cluster. Okay, and for that, if you remember the YAML file, okay, and in YAML file, we already mentioned about the name of the service. Okay, so how we will define it? Let me do one thing. Let's clear the screen, and kubectl get sec. Okay, in namespace CICD. So this is the name of the service. Okay, and we have to provide Jenkins URL http colon Jenkins dash service dot CICD is the namespace, then svc dot cluster dot local. Okay, and the port is 8080. Okay, so this is the way we can access the Jenkins, and that's what we discuss in our day 7 part 2 Kubernetes, right? Where when we specifically talk about various kind of services and how we can access those, right? So but it's a standard practice in Kubernetes. We also have a DNS service, so we can leverage, and we cannot always rely on the name of the pod. Okay, so that's why we have service, and by which service we can access Jenkins. Okay, so Jenkins, this is again, once again, let me tell you what is this. HTTP colon, this is standard, then you have to say Jenkins dash, this is the name of your service, then this is the your name of namespace. If namespace is default, you could write a default. Okay, then svc dot cluster dot local, and we are done with that. Save and exit. All right, come back over here, and if you see, it's offline now. When I click on this, so here we have an option to see the logs. So these are the pods, I mean not pods, the logs, and you could see Unix agent again successfully connected. If you see like created pod like this, okay, remote versioning, launching Kubernetes launcher, communication protocol JNLP4 connect. This is the protocol. We already discussed all these things in, of course, Jenkins part 1 and 2, right, where we learn about distributed build and agent successfully connected and online. So I have shown you, if you don't do the configuration, okay, of this one, then your pod is not gonna spin up. Kubernetes never know where it has to connect and communicate with the your Jenkins server. Okay, so I have removed this, and once again, if I build, so you could see again, you want to see the same logs over here, right? Yeah. See provisioning, having provisioning, and this will keep on going. Okay, and waiting for the next available executor. But if I go back over here, configuration, and put the Jenkins URL over here, so apply, and as soon as I apply, you could see in very short amount of time it will come back. I think I missed something. Okay, my bad. So HTTP colon, then I have to copy again, but I know the name of the service, and that is Jenkins dash service, then namespace CICD, then svc dot cluster dot local, then 8080 is the port number, and save it and see. As soon as we start doing this, and I mean, as soon as we provide the Jenkins URL, then it has started to work. Okay, so that's why it is very important to have this thing. Okay, and additionally, one more thing I wanted to show you over here. So you could see when it has got executed. So here what we have found, so agent go pod name. Okay, this is the name of the pod, and this string is the random. Okay, is provisioned from template go pod name. Here you could see the option API version 1, pod, metadata annotation, and Jenkins slab. Okay, this is the label. And if you see in this, here we go. Right, pod label, Jenkins and slave. We didn't provide these values, right? So these are automatically added by this configuration. Okay, so you don't need to do anything, but just to you want to wonder what these things are, pod labels. Okay, so these are ingested automatically. Then name is this one, then namespace is CICD, the container arguments which we provided, and which is over here, right? Okay, which is in the container actually. And the sleep is the command, image is colon, and image pool policy is like this, image name is like this. And actually, one more thing I wanted to do over here for template, and always. Okay, so we don't need to pull this always. I mean, don't need to keep it like this. Just keep it. I mean, just we selected it like that. Okay, because of the uh, first time it takes some time, and sometimes what happened when you have local images and when you unchecked it, so it started to find locally. So, but no worries. um, I just selected this option. Now we have unselected that. Then here we TTI true, which we have provided, and resources are the default one. Okay, all these are Kubernetes concept, and I believe and assuming you already aware about that. Here, then we have volume nodes. Okay, and the working directory this one, and then some of the environment variable injected. And if you see over here, this environment variable was missing, right? Jenkins URL, and the value is this one, Jenkins dash service dot CICD is the name of the namespace. SVC is the service dot cluster dot local 8080. Okay, and this is the Jenkins inbound agent image name, chair, and LP, which has some of the resources and so on and so forth. And here you could see the volumes is empty directory because we have to share the data among the containers. Okay, and but we don't want to persist the data, so that's why it will. And if you don't want to see this, so there is an option available. You can disable this, and rest these commands are as is. So let me show you first how you can. Uh, it's somewhere. Okay, this one, show row YAML in console. So when you are not interested, so for example you have done testing, okay, or you are setting up and you found some of the error, so you can directly copy paste this logs, this template, okay, and put in your AI after removing of the sensitive content. So AI can help you and understand what is actually the configuration you are making in there. Okay, of course we are DevOps, so as technology is getting evolved, we are also changing our way of troubleshooting and putting the things. Okay, now I have made the changes, and now let's go ahead and build it once again, and hopefully the last time. So yeah, go port name, it's terminating, it's already done. And you could see we do not have the, and you could also see over here, right? Agent is this, building remotely, and name like this, and go port level in workspace this one. So remotely it means that dynamically it is created. Okay, and after that it has come successfully perform its job, and then it has gone. If I go over here and if I go in manage, so you could see in the configuration the number of executors are 0, and DSOQ is the label, that's why, and only builds job with the label expression, that's why it is not working. I mean, it is not getting executed on the, yes, over here on the controller. So our environment is working fine. Now it's time to run the single agent. Okay, so pipeline, that's the actual fun, right? We have, because we have to write the pipeline. So, okay, this is just we have test the environment, everything is working fine. Now we have to write a pipeline. So here I explain the two concepts for you. So first concept is single agent, okay, where you have a use case where you don't need to use different pods to execute your code. Okay, so that is we are calling that, or I just give it a name. Let's create it first. So single agent pipeline, or maybe put it like this. So single agent pipeline. Okay. Single agent pipeline, and select the option pipeline, then okay, fine. Now, okay, so in this, what we are going to do, let's take example of hello world. Okay, agent any. So let's go ahead and see what happened first with this when we don't have anything. Okay, so it's waiting for, but we are not able to see any slab agent over here. Okay, so very simple thing, guys. What we need to do, let's keep a file over here and let's give it a name go live. And what we need to do over here. So first of all, we have to define the agent, right? Which we didn't define anything in this hello world. That's why it is not working. So we have to define an agent, and in order to define agent, what we have to do, so in this case we have to define agent, and here we have agent Kubernetes. And then you have to open and close this. So here we have several options, and if you don't install, of course if you don't install plugin then you cannot do it, but yes, we already installed. That's why we configure Kubernetes cloud, and here agent is Kubernetes, and here we have to provide level. And what was the level for this one? Manage Jenkins, and inside cloud, this one pod templates, and here we go. So our level is go pod level. Okay, then we say something like this, and hello world, as well as let's do this command as well, go version. Okay, and let me put, okay, that we can do letter. So now I'm changing the configuration of this. Okay, and save like this, and now let's build it and see what happens. Okay, so is something happening over here? Okay, so pending, creating, running, 2 of 2, 2 of 2, terminating, and what happened? So this one is successfully, I mean, of course it's a fail, but yeah, it has executed actually. Okay, so what happened over here? Let's see. First of all, started by user, warning label options is deprecated. Okay, let's ignore the warning. This was the pod, this is running. Okay, hello world executed. And go version. Okay, so what happened? Go not found. Okay, and so scripted written exited code like this. Okay, let's troubleshoot. It's our lucky moment to do the troubleshooting. All right, so instead of single statement, what I'm gonna do, I put 3 codes like this, so we can execute many shell commands. Okay, so before this, let's execute who and I. Okay, and host name, host name. Okay, all right, let's copy and paste. And in order to troubleshoot, we can simply go over the cursor over here, and there is an option replay. So replay is very helpful when you don't want to commit your code so in the repository before while you are testing it. Okay, so you could do this. You could also change the configuration. Okay, that is also possible, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm just testing it. So let's see what happens. All right, so you would see, so this is actually getting executed in the pod. Okay, and as a Jenkins, but it is not able to execute the command go. What's wrong? Okay, so let's troubleshoot this further and let's see. So here there are 2 ways by which we can fix this. Okay, so either what you could do, you could define over here default container. Okay, and default container is then we need to check what is the name of the container. Okay, so here we go. If you see the in container template, go container name. Okay, or container, yeah, go container name. Exactly. So this is the name of the container. We have to put it over here. So default container. Okay, that's this is the one of the way where we define default container. Right. Okay, so let's do it again. And here is also option replay. Okay, so we are not changing this option in this configuration. It's still the same. Okay, so when clicking 9, it's a different. We are just testing. And now if you see, okay, hello world, who am I is root. Before it was Jenkins. This is the pod name where we are executing this command, and inside this is one way, okay, to make it as a default container. Another way to execute this stage in if you have multiple containers defined in the same pod template. Okay, so for example, if you go down like this, okay, so add more containers. Okay, if you have multiple containers and if you want to execute this command or all the stages, okay, so make a default one. If not, what you could do, there is an option. And what's the option? So in that case you have to define inside the straps, okay, the container. Let me copy this from here, container. Okay, not this one. All right, and what I'm going to do now, I will copy this everything like this and put it inside. Okay, so that's what. So now this time what happened, and one more thing we have to do over here, we have to define a container. Okay, so what is the container? So this is the name of the container. Okay, so that's why since beginning I have just configured in a way that what is the name of the container. Okay, label, go pod label, go pod name, so you will get the idea what is happening where. Okay, so now copy everything and replay this one code, and let's run this. So, and this is not gonna work out, so I'm canceling this one. And what happened? Okay, so again there is a problem, sandbox and GUI action like this. Okay, fine. So okay, no such property, go for class GUI.lag, missing property exception. All right, so it's error. Okay, so let's troubleshoot this. So I have missed something. Okay, see, some small things and small mistakes are costlier. Okay, sometimes happen. So same, we have to keep it like this. And now let's run this again, and it is gonna work. So, but before that, I would like to show you the error. So you remember what kind of error that will help you to answer in your interview questions. Okay, so no such property, go for class groovy.len.binding. Okay, so this is the error. So now we have fixed this, and let's run this. And yeah, here we go. Okay, so we have both the options. Either choose default container, or you can also mention over here. My preference is this one because I don't want to make one container for all the stages to become a default. Okay, so but this is a case for single agent. It really doesn't matter, but still, if you have multiple containers defined in this kind of, if you have multiple stages, okay, and everything is gonna be executed in the same container. So mention over here, so you don't need to define everything. But in case of multi-stage, okay, so in that case we need to define it. Okay, so let's go ahead and see that multi-stage. But before that, I want to do something. Here there is a warning. Let's get rid of this one as well. Okay, so for this says warning, label option is deprecated to use static pod template, use inherit from. Okay, so this is the one thing with the label. So let's use this one, inherit from. Okay, so I'm doing one thing. Let's disable this and inherit from. So in this, what you have to provide, so you have to provide a pod name. Okay, otherwise it is not gonna work. So we have provided this. Let's copy this and run it over here. And let's see what just happened. All right, so it is successfully executed. Okay, and the pipeline stage view overview plugin, which we not stage view, the plugin which I talk about pipeline, right? We install this so we can see the output like this. So far we have only one stage. Okay, and so but still we are coming on with the multi-agent pipeline, right? So let's go over here, and one more thing I would like to show you over here, so you could see this one. Okay, let's log in. And okay, so here we had a warning and output was different. Okay, here, and if you see, the output is completely different. I would say the console logs. Okay, so basically what happened over here when you use this one. Okay, so inherit from, where you provide the pod name, and label, where you just give it a name of the pod. Okay, and by that it the Jenkins automatically identify, and at the runtime when pipeline get executed, so it know where it has to execute this. Okay, so this is the inherit from. Okay, so explore this, and but it's, they already mentioned over here, it is deprecated, right? To use a static pod, use this one, or this option. So maybe in future it is gonna be no more supported. Okay, so you could use that, or I don't know. So better to go with the recommended, so you won't get any warnings, and output is the same. Okay, so let's go ahead and save this. For okay, before that I would like to do one thing over here, so we know. Okay, end of, this is the end of the pipeline block. Okay, and we need to copy this. This is end of these stages. This is end of this stage. All right, so this is important to, because when pipeline goes, we really get confused sometimes where is what. Okay, especially when you have to do troubleshooting. Okay, so that's why it is a good practice to put something like this, so you could easily navigate in which stage has a problem. Okay, so we have done with this, and let's copy this one and come over here. Let's do it like this, and what's the name of the pipeline? So let's keep it like this, single agent pipeline. Groovy. You can give any extension. I'm just giving it like this. So when I upload it on GitHub repository, okay, so syntax will be highlighted. That's why nothing is special. Okay, so here we go. And now we have to do things for multi-stage and multi-agent pipeline. Okay, so for that we will do next. So there is a difference for that. Okay, let me comment this out. Agent block like this. Of course, we will use agent, but not this in this way. Agent none. Okay, and in multi-stage, we provide the agent for each and every stage. Okay, the details of the agent. So let's go ahead and do that. So for that, it's very simple. On global agent, we have defined none, and this agent block, we have to move it to stage level. Okay, and here we go. This is our stage goal length. Let's put it over here. Okay, let's do some indentation. All right, so let me remove this to fit simple. Default container name, we don't need it. And inherit from, so we know inherit from it means we have to give a name of the pod. Okay, and additionally we don't need this as well. In case in your pod template, if you have multiple containers and you want that command must execute in particular container, go ahead and do in this way. So let's first check this, and after that we create a multi-stage. And in order to test it, let's replay. Okay, here we go. So what I have done, let me tell you first. So I have commented this agent block entirely, and agent none is here, and stages in stage golang. I copy paste the above agent block as is, and I remove this two commented. Okay, this two means here, this two slash it means we have commented out, so Jenkins will not interpret this. Okay, ignore this while pipeline will get executed. This is over here, and we also commented this one. So let's execute and let's see what happened with our pipeline. Okay, it says go version, right? So what we need to do, we have to define a container. So it's good when you have multi-stage pipeline. So either, I already told you, either you could define the default container name over here or over here. So I'm gonna put container name over here. Let's copy this and rerun it again, and hopefully we won't get our lucky moment to troubleshoot. All right, so if you see now, so our this pipeline, okay, this is the single agent pipeline executed. Is some of the information, body information, and here we go. Okay, so this is our host name, single agent pipeline, and number 9, and this is the Go version, which is currently the Docker image, or container image, which we are using for the Go. All right, so we are ready with that, and now let's go ahead and create a new pipeline. So we click on new. Instead of single, I will say multi-agent and multi-stage pipeline. So I'll just put it multi-agent is enough, okay, just for the simplicity. And though it's just a demo, nothing special over here, let me copy paste it in this one. And okay, so let's build this now, and let's see what happens. So though we already checked, now we have multi-stage, so maybe we can choose this option, and this is working fine. Now what we are going to do, we will make it multi-stage as well as multi-agent. So let me copy this stage and up to end of stage go length. So that's why I just commented like this, and this would be all right. So let's go ahead and do the configuration for node. So for that we go to cloud, our cloud configuration, and here we have a pod template. So one second. All right, so we copy from over here as is. Okay. So here we configure or we add one more pod. So in order to do that, we have to click on this add pod. Okay, and here we go, pod template. So MAVEN Maven pod name, and we want CICD and Maven, and we want a level. So Maven pod level like this. So there would be no confusion. Users only build with this parameter. Only build job with the level expression matching this node. Okay, and here we have to add a container. So container name will be Maven. Container name will be Maven dash and container name. Okay, and Maven is the Docker image which we are going to use. Rest is as is, keep like this, and then we have to create. Okay, so for that, come over here and change the stage name Maven, and instead of go, we will put Maven pod name, and here we will change Maven container name, and here we have to change the command Maven dash version. Okay, and here we also change Maven Maven, and let's test it. Okay, let's duplicate this and open one more tab. Yeah, it's a Safari browser. It is more security concern. Anyways, here we go, multi-stage, and in order to test it, we will replay the existing pipeline. Okay, once our code is successfully tested, then we will build, we will put in the configuration, and this time, okay, it has failed. And what happened? Let's see over here what it says. Okay, so I made a mistake over here. Let's replay and check the Maven pod template. Maven, okay, Maven container. So what I have done here, Maven container. Okay, that was the mistake. Let's fix this as well. Not Mav, it's a Maven. And this time, click on this and pipeline overview. So now we could see Golang executed, Maven is also executed. So this is about the Maven stage. For example, if you are working on AI project, okay, and you have to execute, entire project is not that one, right? So if you want to execute command, or you want to use or build for the Python, right? So you want to use Python. So you could use like this Python, and here we go, Python like this. Okay, and come over here in this one, and now we will add another pod template. Pod template, click here, Python, pod name, CICD namespace, Python, not pod name. Okay, let's copy this first. Add container. So, okay, this is Python. Okay, container name, and the image name is also Python. And what we want here, level, we want to put Python work level. Let me copy this and put it over here. So if you see Python pod name, let's copy this and check with this one. Okay, it does match here. CICD Python pod label. Okay, that we are not using, but anyways, it's good to know and good to check as well to avoid our lucky moment. So yeah, here we go. I made a spell typo. Okay, and let's come over here, Python container name, and that's what I copy pasted. So here we have to change it and like this. All right, we would like to add one more tablet over here. Let's say you are also working on full flash white AI project and your front end, right? So for that you use one node, okay, and the namespace is CICD level, and not this one. Okay, we copy this. Yeah, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not good. So we do like this node, okay, and for template inject, okay, rest is fine. So node port name, CICD node port name, and container, we have to add a container, okay, and node, and Docker image is also node, and this is the pod lab, no, pod level container name, right? We copy this from here and put it over here. All right, so this is also done. So okay, now we have overall 1 2 3 4. Okay, so now I know Python, everything in one. Okay, so Python container is over here, and this is also Python stage, and okay, so this is all Python, and lastly we want to test it for Node as well. Okay, so all you different stages for your different front end, back end, and different kind of builds. Okay, node, and let's execute the command in this. And for this one, maybe not, we don't. Okay, this is the Python, and here Python 3, and we want dash dash version. And similarly for node, let's say we want to check the version, and pm dash v and node dash v. All right, and this is the node stage. Okay, so let's quickly check everything is fine, seems fine. It will be confirmed after execution. So Maven, Python, and node. Okay, let's copy this everything and rerun over here, and let's go click on this pipeline overview. So Golang, that's executed. Then Maven, this is gonna be executed fine. Python, okay, so this is also worked, and node, okay. So this is our multi-stage pipeline, which we have tested. So let's put it in the configuration, and we will also do the checkout for this one. Okay, so save it, save and exit it, and build it again. And everything is fine. Then we will check this in our repository. Okay, go worked. Good. All right. Everything is working smoothly, buttery smooth. Okay, Go, Maven, Python, Node. So if you have use case something like this, so you could use like this. Okay, and let's put this in this one. Okay, so 1 second. I not need this. Okay, and what we need multi-stage. Okay, so click over here, multi-stage pipeline, When, if you want to learn about Vim, go ahead and refer our Linux Day 1 Part 3 video, if you want to, but only if you want to, right? So insert it, okay, and we have tested. Let's check everything. We have commented this agent none. Okay, go down and with my okay, all right. So everything is fine. We have done this, and one more way I wanted to show you. Let me quickly bring that thing over here. That thing. Okay, so maybe check not here, here. YAML. Okay, so we can also use YAML syntax or YAML file like this. Okay, so let me find this declarative. Okay, so declarative pipeline. Yeah, here we go. First, let's check this, and then we talk about. And if we need to troubleshoot, we will do this. Okay. It is working. Go to the logs. Okay. So it is successfully executed. And if I go over here, we can check the run Maven. So there are two things in over here. So Maven as well as BusyBox. Okay, let me pull it over here. We already copied this. Let me paste it over here. So what happened over here? So of course, this is a pipeline block, agent and in-agent. What is my point over here to show you? Here Kubernetes, in agent, you can also provide your template. Okay, and API version 1, pod, metadata, level, some level. Okay, I didn't make any of the changes, just wanted to explain you. Containers, Maven. Okay, so here we have multiple containers in same template. Okay, and if you see BusyBox, okay, so which we didn't configure at all. If we see here, so we don't have any pod template, right? So it is coming over there or came from this. Okay, retries true, then stages, and here we have the stage run Maven. Okay, steps container Maven, and then this one, and another container is this one. Okay, so that's that's how you can define multi containers, and that's where the container block in multi-stage pipeline comes in play. Okay, so multi-stage, it doesn't mean you have multiple stages, or I would say the multiple or multi-agent. Okay, so here it was this one, right? In the same pod template, you define multiple containers, right? And that's why it says containers. So that's what everything we have discussed in our day 7 Kubernetes part 1 and part 2. So if you want, go back and refer that. And I'm not gonna check in this example in the repository. You could simply find it over here, declarative pipeline. Okay, and there are other app example as well if you want to use YAML file. Okay, so just go ahead and explore this. That's why I told initially everything is over here for you waiting. Okay, so but so far I tried to explain, and I hope journey was not too painful again, and now you have very solid understanding, at least to get started with the Jenkins inside the Kubernetes cluster. Okay, and let me see what do we have over here. So we have two pipeline, persistent volume deployment and empty directory, and this one. So let's check status. Okay, come back over here. Right, so git status. Okay, so we have to add this. git add, then git status. Okay, so here at the moment we do not have anything. Now we have to add this folder. So initial commit, let me copy the message and we will use it. Okay, so git commit am and initial commit Jenkins, or I would say like this. Initial commit for this one. Always remember, keep in mind, give a commit meaningful message to this commit. Okay, so later on, if you have to refer this, you could refer it. So for example, git log one line dash and one. So we can check this was the comment which we have made. Okay, and now it's time to git push origin. All right, everything has been pushed, and let's refresh our repository. So here we go. If you see Jenkins Kubernetes, and here we have persistent volume deployment. When you open this file, you will get this something like over here. You can click it again if you want to, and you can check the files, storage, okay, deployment services. Similarly for the empty directory as well. This is the multi-agent pipeline which we have created right now. This is the single agent pipeline, and everything is over here for you. Okay, so please do practice. Okay, and as you are starting, I would say go with this option and configure and see what's happening. Okay, and the steps which I have performed over here, these are related to Git. If you want to learn more about Git, you can go ahead and refer this one, part 1 to 3. Okay, Git and GitHub. This is two about the basic, and this is the advanced concept we have discussed. Okay, and I was also referring the day 7. Day 7 is over here. Yeah, day 7 Kubernetes tutorial, day 7 part 2, where in 7 hours 33 minutes I explained each and every important Kubernetes objects. Okay, similarly we also learn about the Docker. Okay, and this is our Jenkins one. So part 1 to 3 4, and this is the last installment which will be added after this. And if you want to learn more about CICD and how to deploy a project, refer this one, CICD, where I explain everything about the CICD syntax and how you can write. Okay, so that's it from my side on this part, Jenkins Kubernetes tutorial. Let's move back, switch back to our presentation. And please provide your feedback, and if you have any questions or if you want to recommend some topic, please do the same. Your feedback is really important to us. You heard this several times, right? But we heavily rely on your feedback. If you provide your feedback about this tutorial, this will help us to make even it better. Okay, and if you have any questions, any thoughts, or like I already said, if you want to suggest any of the topics, please feel free to drop them or connect with us on social media. We will answer. And yes, you could also write us on this email address. Thank you very much for your time. See you in the next one. Until then, bye bye.